Hello, my name is Aveen. I'm a spiritual healer and intuitive life coach, meditation teacher, etc. etc. Today we're talking about indigos, the Indigo Soul group or soul family, and the characteristics of these special souls. Now, I recently did a video on the angelic soul. Years ago I've done on this channel, because this channel goes back years, I've done videos on the crystal soul. I've done early indigos because there are the pioneering indigo souls, which are people who would usually be in their late 50s to mid 60s now. And they're like considered the first waves, the first wavers, the first vibrational wave of souls that came in at that time. And they had a really tough time. Like the other soul groups that have come after, we really owe a lot of respect and honor to the early indigos, because they were the game changers. They were having to carve a path through like very strongly wooded grassy areas, and they had to blaze that trail for us. So each soul group, every wave that comes in, blazes a trail for the next soul groups that are coming. I want to also state, and I'm saying this at the beginning of all these types of, labels, these videos that have labels in them, because I am not a fan of labels. And I'm doing this video because it was strongly requested from somebody that I know is an indigo, and he knows he's an indigo, but he wants to learn more about it. And he's one of my clients, and you know who you are. So this is for you. This is for you, B, okay? But I want to, the thing I want to state is, please don't get hung up on labels. Don't think that your soul group is better than another soul group, or that that some people are, inferior because they're not they don't resonate with these characteristics. Because in truth, the absolute truth is, and I live by this, all is one, one is the all. Nobody's better than anybody else. Nobody. We are all even Steven here. We are all equals. Some of us are more awake and perhaps have done more, inside internal work on ourselves, but that doesn't make us better than anybody else, okay? So, indigos. Typical traits of an indigo soul are, well, first of all, you're very drawn to the indigo color, which is this beautiful mix of, it's like a purpley blue. It's like royal blue with kind of a purple in it. The indigo color is very strong in your energy field, so you'll also see little dots of, it's like little indigo lights, little orbs of indigo, little blue dots, but more kind of purpley. They kind of have an electrical indigo light to them, okay? So that's one of the things that indigos will see a lot, especially when they're in alignment. They'll see those little lights everywhere. And they'll see them behind their eyes, they'll often see geometric shapes as well, which many of us do. Those of us who are very spiritually open and aligned. Indigos are highly intelligent. So they are brilliant readers of energy. They can meet somebody and they can have a very clear sense of that person's agenda. They have a strong radar for illusion, for lies, for people who are not coming from a place of integrity. They can smell when something is off. They have a very, very strong sense of justice, of truth. And their absolute attraction to justice is connected to their rebelliousness. okay? So the Indigo Soul, especially the later Indigos, which came in the late 70s, early 80s, well 70s, 80s. And again, these are loose timelines. Please don't get hung up on times. Oh, well, I wasn't born at that time. I resonate with everything, but I was born in the 90s, so I can't be an indigo. No, like spirit is not working off a linear man-made timeline. You know, source is expressing itself in the timelessness of source. So don't get hung up on numbers or dates. Just trust your heart, trust your soul. You'll know when something resonates for you. And if you're an indigo, you don't need me to even validate that for you, because indigos don't need validation. They are self-powered, self-driven people. They don't need acknowledgement or validation or external approval. They're very much their own people, and they're very attached to their sense of direction and purpose. Back to their intelligence. It's not necessarily an intelligence that they use in a linear way. So yes, many indigos are good in school and could actually, if they really wanted to, if they felt there was meaning in it, they could be in social terms top of the class. But they know that that status, that system encourages regurgitation, you know, worn out ideas, old-fashioned ways, and indigos abhor that. They do not want to be part of an old-fashioned 3D, third-dimensional system. They want to be part of the new world, the new paradigm, the new ways of being. And they really have a strong distaste for following the linear, systemic fashion in being in their life. You know, they will rarely go to college. I'm not saying all indigos don't go to college, okay? Again, take this information loosely and use your common sense and apply it to your life, okay? Some indigos will probably go to college, but even if they do, they will study something that has great passion and drive in their energy. It'll be something, you know, maybe environmental, something that they can use to contribute to improve the world. Environmental matters are really important to indigos. They have a strong desire to protect and nurture nature. Nature means an awful lot to indigos. In fact, it's not a luxury for an indigo to spend time in nature. It is an absolute need. It's a necessity. It's very important if you're an indigo that you are getting to touch the trees, to hug the trees, to sit with the trees, to walk barefoot on the ground, so that you're grounding your energy, you're earthing yourself, you're feeling that Gaia connection. Indigos are very connected to Gaia. They care about Gaia. They know that the earth is a living organism, that she needs support and she needs love and she needs protection. So many indigos will be working for Greenpeace or protesting, campaigning about environmental matters. They hate waste. You know, they really abhor waste. It's all about respecting, recycling, using what they have to their utmost. So their intelligence is a highly intuitive intelligence. They can pick up on things. You know, if there's illusion being spun by somebody, they will feel that. They will know this is not someone I can invest in. This is not someone I can trust, okay? They often will not like school, like I said, even though they may be good at school, they will feel the strong soul pull to not become entrenched in the system, because they're not here to be part of the system. They're here to create a new way, an evolved way of education. So, you know, we have like these new models of education coming up that are children-led. Instead of sitting the child down and forcing them to learn a load of regurgitated information that in many ways would probably be meaningless for them in their lives, and it's just an exercise in control. The new schools that are letting the child decide what they want to learn, how they want to learn it, and working with the child, the people who set up these schools are indigo souls for sure. So indigos are very good at breaking down the old systems that are not working and that are only for the mainstream, and opening up new perspectives, new ways of educating, organizing, and employing, okay? So they will rarely follow the traditional school, college, university kind of route. They will rarely follow traditional roles of relationships as well. Their relationships are so deep and multifaceted, and not just with one person as such, that they can feel very strongly connected to other indigos, to the crystal souls, to the angelic souls, because we're all kind of I'm just getting this idea of Spirit is just showing me that these different soul groups are like, if you take the superheroes, we have different superheroes, they have different strengths, okay? You've Wonder Woman, you have Spider-Man, you've Superman, the Black Widow. You've got all these different superheroes, okay? And they're all part of the one energy. They all come from this one powerful source, but they're different expressions of that source. So, that's how we have all these different soul groups. And everybody, by the way, if you're on this planet right now watching this video, you are a special soul, because we're all special in that we're all from this one is all powerful source, God force energy. And we just express in different ways. But there are some of us who have very, very powerful sense of purpose. And our mission is such a drive. We want to change the world for the better. We want to help people. We want to care. We want to express love in a more open, unlimited fashion. And that's how these soul groups came forth, because Spirit felt that humanity had fallen into this sleep, this deep, deep sleep, and it was forgetting why it came here in the first place. So these souls put their hands up and said, I'll go forward. Let me go into a physical body, into a time-space reality, and I will contribute. I will show that there is another way, that not everybody has to go to school, go to university, tick all these boxes, be a box ticker. I will show that, in fact, there is no box, that the box is simply an illusion. And I will show the other way, and I will show other souls who are like-minded that there is a path lit up for you. So indigos will often have this sense of not quite knowing how or where they fit in. This sense of, what is my purpose here? Like, for much of their younger life, possibly into their 30s, 40s, even 50s, even beyond that, depending on their life circumstances, some indigos really feel lost. Like they not only are outside the box, but can't even see a box, because they know the truth. They're so connected to the God force that it's impossible for them to play along when they see that it's illusion. They won't just play along just to fit in. They won't just march to a beat that doesn't match the true integrity of who they are, because they're truth seekers. Indigos, like the crystals, like the rainbows, like the angel souls, they are truth seekers. They're not here to fit in. And if you're an indigo, my advice to you would be, stop trying to fit in. I identify with crystal, being a crystal soul, and somewhat being indigo as well. And a lot of us are mixes of things, we're multidimensional. So we're not like one or the other. And I always think this is reflected very much in the DNA. You know, if you send away your DNA, you get it tested to see where you come from, find out about your ancestors. You'll often, like, none of us are like 100% this, you know, 100% that. We are a mix of different things, and it's the same with your soul energy. You are this beautiful eclectic mix of things. So indigos, they march to the beat of their own drum. They have their own song, their own tune. It's very much expressed in how they dress. They won't follow fashions as such. They will find that suffocating to follow rules and regulations. They can be quite unique in how they dress and how they wear their hair and how they carry themselves in the world. And that's not because they're looking for attention. It's just genuinely what they're drawn to. And people always comment on the fact that I like to wear a lot of colour. And it's true, I do love colourful. I love colour. I love painting in colour. I love wearing colourful clothes. And that's because as a crystal, I see crystal clear. I see energy very clearly. And I can see all the colours. I can see the textures. I can feel colours. You know, I taste colour. So it's just natural for me to want to wear different colours, and also they represent different feelings, different moods. Colour is very healing. But my point is, it's not to get attention. You know, indigos are very rebellious, very, very stubborn. You know, you can't force an indigo out of their power. And they purposely kept that in mind because when they were coming forward, they had to be sure that they wouldn't be hammered down into the system. And the soul had to take on an extra layer of strength, like a jacket they zipped on. I will not be forced into that boring, outdated, regurgitated system. Because if I do, my soul mission to break out of that and create and organize something new won't be complete. So they have that very, very strong sense of purpose, of their power. They just know their God energy. They know they're connected. They know that they are an alchemist here to transform the lead of humanity into gold. Yes, indigos are definitely alchemists. That's very, very true. What else can I say about indigos? I can go on and on. I would suggest, if you're really strong, if you feel you're a strong indigo frequency, to look through my videos, and you'll see, it's a few years back now, but if you scroll through the videos, you'll find it, and it's called Early Indigo Souls or Early Indigos. And there's lots in that as an indigo, even if you're an indigo born later, you will absolutely connect the dots with, because the early indigos made sure that they opened a doorway for the now indigos to come in. And there's always a connection. And many people who resonate with being an indigo, a second or a late indigo, shall we say, will often have a mentor or a best friend or some really, really deep soul connection with an older person, usually in their 60s at this time. This is 2019, so just to keep that in mind with these videos. That person will often be like a soulmate of you because you're from the same soul group. So you might know someone who you feel really connected to, really comfortable with, and somebody who challenges you, you know, because you're from the same soul group. It's like they're a family member. They can be really truthful with you. You can be truthful with them. There's no filter when you're with this person. There's a sense of, I'm home. I'm with my kin. I'm with my soul family. And these people are very important in helping the now indigos who came in the kind of 70s, 80s, because they understand, they've lived it, okay? And they lived it in way worse situations. Because if you look at that video, you'll see that the early indigos agreed to incarnate into abusive families, like really tough soul lessons for the early indigos. So I have great respect. I have one of my best friends is an early indigo, and I absolutely love and respect her so much. And she's taught me so much, and we help each other, and we seem to be, we have this lovely complementary dynamic that when I'm down, she's strong and she's able to shine the light and help me remember who I am, and vice versa. When she's down, I'm usually full of energy and I can pull her up. So we do that for each other, which is just, it's the greatest gift in my life, really. It's like having a sister I never had, you know. It's a soul sister, and we do say that about each other. So indigos are also very creative. You know, they can be very artistic, but also not just creative in the traditional way that they're, you know, good at painting or something, but they're very creative with how they organize things, how they see life, how they process things. They can be very creative in how they're going to set up the new ways, which is what the indigo souls are here to do. So they will often go into really tired, worn out organizations, schools, you know, banking systems, economics, business, and they'll say, why are we doing it that way? That doesn't work. You know, this is the way to do it. This is a much more advanced way, and it meets everybody's needs, and it's reflective of where we are now in our spiritual evolution. They're brilliant at doing that. They are leaders. Indigos are born leaders. And part of that is, and this is another really interesting thing about being an indigo. Indigos are introverts, okay? So they love their own company. They need to take space away from noise and excessive chattiness to get back to their own energy, to realign, and they're very empowered by themselves. They don't need to lean on other people in a traditional sense, but you give an indigo the spotlight to share their creative ideas, to help somebody, to express and channel the indigo soul message, and they are extrovert. They will steal the show. They will light up the stage. You know, when they're given that space and that attention to have their indigo voice heard and to say something profound, to say something that person needs to hear, they will step up and they will be strong, and there will be no apologies. And it's a powerful sight to behold when you see an indigo get the mic, you know, because they can be very, very quiet. They'll be in a group, you know, they will display as a typical introvert, you know, very quiet, very contained energy, observing everything, taking it all in, you know, using that strong intuition. But when you give them the mic and it's their turn to say something that has meaning, they are a powerhouse of information, because they're old souls, they're very wise, and they're here to cut through the BS. And they will, in 2 words, they will just, you know, you could have a group of people chit chat all back and forward saying the usual stuff, platitudes. The indigo will, let's get straight to the point here. Now, it's still from a very loving place, but it's just so connected. It's so powerful and it's so strong. And, you know, people who are not indigo and who don't realize that it is actually from a place of truth and wisdom can find that, whew, what just happened? But it's a beautiful thing to watch, because, you know, a highly conscious indigo will use that power succinctly. They'll use that power in a very kind, loving way, even if it is cutting straight down to the bone, which is often necessary. And they are here to express those messages. They are here to speak the truth. And sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. Sometimes the truth is hard for people to swallow. But that's not the indigo's issue. That's not the indigo's problem. The indigo is the messenger, will pass on the information. That's it. It's up to the other person how they digest that and what they do with that guidance. What else do I want to say? Yeah, just that sense of stubbornness. Again, I would call it a spiritual stubbornness, because I've seen this with indigos, clear, straight, like really strong indigo souls. They don't suffer fools lightly. So if there's someone who is prattling on about something, the indigo is very good at excusing themselves and leaving the energy, because they know there's no meaning in this. Indigos are very attached to meaning. They don't like doing things just for the sake of doing it. They don't like doing duties or tasks or jobs because society tried to drill it into them that you have to do it this way and you have to do this every day. No, indigos are spontaneous and creative and liberated from any of those preconceived, regurgitated ideas. So if something doesn't have meaning for them, they will just discard it, and rightly so. They will just walk away. So if somebody is speaking a lot from their ego, or somebody is very unconscious in their conversation or in how they're living their life, it's just not of interest to the indigo. The indigo soul will find there's no depth in that exchange. There's no meaning. There's no purpose to it. They're very, very purpose-driven people. And they always had a sense of purpose from the time they were born. From the time they were little, they knew they were here to do something important, to contribute, and to create new ways of living, educating, working, how we earn money, how we exchange our skills, all these things. The indigos will not be following a 9-to-5 version of that. Their lives are not here to fit that mold. And in fact, there is no mold. They're outside the mold, which is wonderful. So they can spend a lot of their life feeling a little bit lost, a little bit directionless, because that purpose can feel very vague at times. But as they get older and as they find their vibe tribe, they start to put it all together. They start to see why they went down that road. Many indigos will go down the adventurous road, exploring drug abuse, alcohol abuse, sexual exploration, all those things. And again, it's just because they're here to walk through the walls of the box and go on a little detour. They're not here to be ordinary. They're here to be extraordinary. I know a few indigos. They are a blessing in my life. I love their rebellious spirit because it's all from love, and I can see it's from source. They're not trying to be difficult. It's a beautiful vibration, and it's a beautiful frequency. If you're an indigo, please embrace your leadership abilities and lead with love, lead with grace, because that's what you're here to do. If you stayed with me this far, I love you. I hope this is helpful. Again, today was the day. Spirit was like, I came in from work and Source was like, quickly have something to eat, cup of tea, do your video. Indigos need to hear this. Please give this video a thumbs up, because I've put a lot of energy into it here, and like and subscribe. And if you know someone who you think is an indigo soul and they don't know anything about this stuff, this might be helpful. You know, as I said, it's not about the label. It's just about having a sense of who you are is nice. It's fun, and it does help us feel like we're not alone here. So that's the purpose of these videos, to connect kith and kin. I love you. Have a great day.